If I lose audio this week, which it looks like I might have done again, like if I have audio issues, I'm 100% show or anything.
It just depends on when you cut the video. But I think the funny thing is that everything on they're showing to try to make this more of what it is that they cut off the snippet where you see she blatantly pushes the other girl. And Caitlin Clark's like, that's a foul. And so then rather than just giving her the easy bucket, she fouls her. And I think if you cut it right where she just starts to go into defending Reese, it looks really, really bad from that angle. But if you play it like it wasn't like she recognized there was a foul before that was uncalled, and then was just, I'll just take my chances because she bricks free throw or layups, so we'll get her to the line, and she still ended up missing one from the free throw line anyhow. I think they are, and I like that they're trying. Like, there's a feeling that everything that they're trying to do is to make it out to be that she's not a star, but they should just be leaning into it and trying to grow their base, as opposed to just like going out of their way to say how she isn't the main person. Like at this point, it would almost be an equivalent of like the NBA just being like, we're not going to show LeBron James. Like, he's just not that good, and blatantly go out of their way to not focus him when it's a recognizable person that should be on the front of your league. And I think it shows with the ticket sales. You have like average ticket prices are like 20,000 fans. Caitlin Clark comes in and it's like 50,000.
Like if I have audio issues,
20,000.
I'm 100% show.
What was different in that week that it over doubled your attendance?
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing for me when I'm looking at just the coverage that's been going through. I don't know what some of these other groups, like the groups for like advertising, and even ESPN, like what they're trying to do. You're going to go ahead, be the face of the league, but in reality, you need another like person to play off it. The NBA isn't playing it off it with anybody with LeBron. Like, it seems like if anyone's competing with LeBron, maybe Steph or whatever, at that point, it's just like a Steph. They're not trying to like compare him. If anything, they have always compared LeBron to like Michael and like a historical guy. WNBA, like no one even knows anyone that's been in the, so they don't have like a historical woman to like compare her to. Like Candace Parker, she wasn't shooting like that, right? I don't even know who else would have been. Sue Bird, I don't know anything about Sue Bird. Diana Taurasi, those would probably be. Those are all basketball players, right? I don't know if they're. I don't think they're soccer players.
I just don't.
Those are the only women basketball players I could probably name, other than like my girl Brittany Griner. But she wasn't. That's like comparing Steph Curry to Shaq, right? Two different styles. Like Brittany Griner's like the. And then I mean that's pretty much true. Like Shaq needed a sidekick. He needed like win one with the Celtics.
She gets a street cred because she spent time in a Russian prison.
Yeah, she was done. She was done in, dude. So I'm just wondering what the WNBA can do, because like to me, if you're trying to make it this like competition, you're gonna alienate all the other teams, and it's gonna be like the Big Ten, where all year you hear about like Michigan, Ohio State, and then no one else tunes in for the other games unless like it involves one of those two teams, or like maybe a Penn. Like there might be some other like smaller kind of star that could bring people in. I think of the one girl from UConn, because she was very critical of Caitlin Clark, and I remember her, and I thought like she's in charge of the league, like she's like the best player. I never even heard of her. Brianna Stewart. Is it Brianna Stewart? Who are you thinking of?
Rebecca Lobo.
Oh, maybe that's another old. I think Brianna Stewart's in the league right now though.
Yeah.
So she's the one that I think of, because it would be like who was like hot. Carmelo when LeBron got, I don't even know. Yeah, it would almost been like Kobe, just like talking trash. But I mean, I guess everyone knows Kobe though. It's hard to like do an NBA to WNBA. It's like I don't think most people would know who Brianna Stewart. Like if I gave most people a lineup outside like an NBA game, like, hey, can you name these stars? Would they even know? Anyone else other than maybe Caitlin Clark? And I'm putting a maybe in there because they might not even know what she looks like, right? I've said this before. A lot of the commercials they put in there, they're like there's one that basketball one where it's like three dudes in a suit and they all show up wearing this. I know none of them. I want to say they're from Oklahoma State, because I think the one guy I've seen his picture pop up, and they're like, he could be the MVP, and I'm thinking, is that the guy from the commercial? I never looked it up because I didn't, right? But I thought like, and for the NBA, you're doing a poor job advertising these next guys because for LeBron, his name was like part of his thing. So every time he's in a, they would make sure you said LeBron. You can't put a guy in a commercial and then not say and try to get people. Like I feel like the NFL always does like Patrick Mahomes or like even the say they're doing like the Mahomes jersey or whatever that one was with Kelsey. Like they're putting his name in the commercial so that you know who he is. So that even if you don't know and you're like, I'm going to look him up, you can find him. That's my beef with like some of the WNBA. You put like a Gatorade commercial, you have Kayla Clark drinking it. I recognize it because I watched her like at Iowa, and I haven't watched any WNBA game. But a random person isn't going to see that, and they're not going to know who that is unless you have like Clark at least on the jersey.
The only thing that I can think that would really scare the WNBA is like with Caitlin Clark's shooting ability. I wonder if they're worried that like it'll be like such a huge gap that she'll just blow everyone away. They'll be like, oh, we can't just stop her. She's scoring at will.
Well, I wonder if a lot of the other women, like their entire lives, they should have been shooting the right. Like you hear about Kobe, he like doesn't leave the. It's literally his job. Like I hear people say, like, oh, I wish I could do. You could when you're a kid. Like that's the time you're supposed to be working out to try to get a scholarship. You're not starting at age 35 and you're playing down at the rec league. And you're like, man, I wish I had time to take 5,000 shots a day. I could probably be good. It's like, you missed your chance, bro. You had the time as a kid. That's like, you have to go ahead and have some like a reality. I hear people talk about it. Basketball seems to be like the one thing that a lot of guys, they feel like, man, if only I had put a little bit more time in, I could just shoot the ball and be like, was it the Pritchard guy from the Celtics? Like, I could be that guy. I could just be shooting threes. It's like, you couldn't, or you would have. Like, I could see, like, I didn't grow up around a hoop, so, like, there was no way for me to practice. But my brother, he put in the time. He would go downtown, he'd walk or whatever, and just shoot hoops over and over and over again. Like, I did the same for baseball. Like, I was always out there. Honestly, like you couldn't even hit a thing out for a while. Like I would just hit rocks, like pop rocks up and you're just hitting rocks out there for hours at a time. Rocks are tiny. Like I'm talking like little like driveway gravel piece. If you can zone in and hit that hard every time, a baseball seems like a beach ball in comparison. But at some point you have to like start. Like I know guys that even I'm starting, like I've been running now for a couple of years. It's like to do that to stay in shape so I don't like get fat like a bunch of X or like die of a heart attack. Like now I like feel like I could just go run a mile. It's like nothing. And I've been working on that for a couple of years now. I could actually probably do two or I mean, without doing anything, like without even stretching, I could easily run two added. And I feel like most people can't. Like I see guys get winded just like, and so those are the same guys that are telling me that they could like, I could shoot like Caitlin Clark. You can't. Dude, you can't. I should just start, we should just have a show where we meet up, we do like a live show, try to use the women's basketball, do whatever, and run. Because I think the running part is they forget that you have to run. That's all I didn't like. Like you're not shooting the three, just standing there the whole game like cherry pick. You have to run back and play defense and then run back. So at some point you're tired and you have to stay focused enough to shoot. Like to be at that level, you have to run sprints for however many bits till you're tired and then you shoot. You're not like fresh coming in. So what she's doing is at a whole nother level. Like I've seen guys shoot like that in college that I could think off the top of my head, like dudes that played where I went. I would put money that they would beat, but that's because they're guys and they're like bigger and stronger. Like if you can shoot like that, that's one thing. But I don't know if I've ever seen another women's basketball player anywhere, college, high school, that can consistently shoot. And so like the next generation of shooters isn't going to come up for like what, another 10 years, if that, right? Because they see her, I'm thinking girls that are like in middle school maybe. And so they're like, all right, I'm going to start shooting now. Every day at practice, coach just has me shooting from the elbow, right? Now I see Caitlin Clark do it, I'm going to start doing that at practice. And so then you have like a couple people start drifting in that will start pushing the boundaries of like shooting. Kind of like the NBA with the 3-point shot. It's taken like what, 20 years for that to be like the thing?
Yeah.
So I'd say at least 10 to get it started. She's definitely going to be the trendsetter. She will be the one that everyone gets compared to. If WNBA even stays around that. Because at some point you can't keep bleeding money and expect, like she could save the league much like Michael Jordan. That's why I don't understand the Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. She's the Michael Jordan of the league. Like Michael Jordan was the peak of the NBA. Look at the ratings. It's been downhill ever since. LeBron couldn't even, Kobe couldn't keep. So Caitlin Clark, what they are hoping is that she's not the peak of the league. That's why I think they keep bringing up the Larry Bird thing. Because Larry Bird and Magic Johnson was kind of like a precursor to the glory days. I mean, Bird played against, so did Magic. They played against Jordan. They played on the Dream Team. They're hoping that a Michael Jordan comes along that's better and that, I don't know.
Well, I think the issue that they're having is they want that person to be Angel. But like a lot of the stuff with sports, I think when you're trying to pick those people and not just let it organically come through their play and through the way that they perform, I think it'll naturally select itself. But you just have to be receptive of recognizing where those opportunities are and then being able to take advantage of them when they do arise. You know, I almost not similar, but I feel like it's a comparable to you have how ESPN at this point just has turned from focusing exclusively on sports to almost turning into a daytime reality show or like daytime talk show. That they're trying to find those gotcha issues that are going on in different sports things and tagging on. And I mean, like you have Ryan Clark that was commenting on RG3 and how he shouldn't be speaking on this Angel Reese Caitlin Clark situation because he doesn't know. And it's like, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one.
Well, see, even my thing, I have to sit here and listen to the same people talk about like the Connor Stallions, right? Oh man, here's Connor Stallions. Like, you don't know the guy. Like, there's literally no way you knew him before this entire fiasco. So people are allowed to comment on that, but then you can't comment on Angel Reese. Like, you can see that she hates Caitlin Clark. And as much as you think that they're trying to push her to be Caitlin Clark, they know. Like, they know she's not as good. They have to know. So they just want to bring, what they're trying to do is level it out and have her be like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. They want them to kind of go head to head because like Magic Johnson, Bird for the national championship in college, just like Reese beat Clark. And then, okay, well, it's very similar. Like Larry Bird was playing on Indiana State. Magic Johnson was on Michigan State. So like you have a Big Ten program loaded with talent, very similar to like Clark was on Iowa. I know that's in the Big Ten, but like they're not loaded with talent compared to LSU, the big money program. So it's like, okay, well, I see the comparison you're trying to draw, but like Magic Johnson was good. He could score. Like Angel Reese can't. She was like 2 for 60 the other night I saw. Like, why am I tuning in to see that? I could tune into a middle school game and see a girl at the stat line, right? And if you're not wowing me with long shots, you're just hitting layups. Like, I don't care. It's the same thing with like the NBA. I try to watch the thing. Tatum gets hurt. Knicks blow him out last game, whatever. I like the Celtics. That's kind of it. I try to watch their games. Honestly, the NBA has become so unwatchable with the flopping that I really can't see myself having a good time saying like, you know what I need to do is throw on some NBA. I tried to watch a couple random games and I just started turning on hockey because I thought it's not like just hearing the whistle and see guys like jack up threes. The only one that I saw was in like actually entertaining was Brunson from the Knicks. That dude was putting it all out there, getting creative. And I'm like, that's what I'm missing. Like I see LeBron flop and it's just like, dude, okay, we get it. That's your brand. But they can do montages of you flopping all day. All day. They could probably have a YouTube channel that has probably 24 hours of LeBron flop. We've been playing for so many years. WNBA, the same thing. Like, where are the Reese highlight reels? Like, I guarantee, like, you can put her entire career together. Caitlin Clark still has highlight reels at Iowa that, like, was probably and even in her short WNBA career. So, I didn't want to start the show just hammering on WNBA stuff, but it is the off season, and who knows how the audio will probably miss. Didn't get cut out yet, but it is acting strange. The next thing I had on here was I don't even know if this is dumber, but flag football getting added to the Olympics. The NFL voted on it, and they're putting in a one team limit or one player per team limit. So only for the United States team. I don't know about other countries. It seemed like they weren't limiting the other countries. So like if your team has 3 French guys, they could all play on the French team. But for the United States, you can only have one player. And that's kind of like, all right.
Are they going to treat that like basketball though? Or if you have people from that are like saying they're from another country that they can play for their home country?
Yeah, I mean, it's up to the IOC or whatever. Is that the Olympic still an acronym?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you have three French guys, they can just go play for France. I don't know. I don't know what the roster limit is. Is it 11? Like flag football, do they play 7-on-7 usually, and then they have like a couple of reserves. Like I don't think the roster's as big, and you play both ways, right? Like I don't know what the rules are. I didn't look, but how do you pick? And can the United States have more than one team? Probably not, right? So like, do you even want
Yeah,
NFL
I would
guys?
think unless they wanted to do like who are the people within the league that are willing that are wanting to participate, and then you split like if they had multiple teams, just have like qualifying like you would for any other event.
That's probably what it is. Guys that will be like buddies. I mean, honestly, for the first one, I wouldn't even mind if they just got like guys that are out of the league. Like if you got, I mean, Antonio Brown's in, but like let's pair him back up with Tom Brady and like I don't know some of the other guys. Like you can go old, but like didn't Randy Moss like have cancer? So like you can't go super old. You have to get guys that are kind of just like retired now that can still play. But like Tom Brady passing in a flag football league would be now if he has to play both ways, then no, I wouldn't put. Then that would be something where like you get a quicker guy like Kyler Murray, shifty, can't pull his flag, running around, right? But like
There you
then like
go.
did Hopkins just retire? Who else? Julio Jones. Like you can make a pretty good roster, I think.
Just get To.
My boy T.O. and Chad Johnson. Dude, what if you had T.O., Chad Johnson?
They're probably going to definitely have at least one run in with the police.
Dude, my man T.O. didn't get it running with the police.
AB just got in trouble like this past week, I think.
Yeah, with a gunfight or something.
See, I wasn't wrong.
I didn't the police report where he said the police asked him what happened. He said, I have CTE, so I might not remember correctly. And then he told his side of the story and the cops let him go. So, I mean, they had to have some type of evidence that would put him in there. But he was at like some YouTubers thing, like, yeah, okay. Tom Brady was texting him to go to see his therapist, dude, trying to get him in a group. And Antonio was trying to put him on blast. Like, dude, look how embarrassing this is for you to tell me to do this. And I thought, that makes Tom Brady look like his optics. I like Antonio Brown, but some of the stuff where he's going is. But yeah, I think quarterback position would be like to play as long as you don't have to play defense. But again, I don't know if you can have just an offensive squad in it because I heard someone saying like, ooh, they should just pick the best defenders from every team and then like guys that can play like both ways, like Travis Hunter or something. But I'm like, who else playing both ways? Like you getting Charles Woodson to come out of retirement? Like he has to be old too, bro. Like you can't have a bunch of guys that like these guys aren't used to playing both ways. Most of them these days have specialized into one sport, one position, one system. So flag football is going to be kind of tough. I wouldn't be surprised if we had a bunch of guys that are out there like tackling or pushing. If you take the penalties, you take the good with the bad. Get the fastest dudes like Tyreek Hill. What if we get beat by like Australia or something, like a rugby team? That would be kind of embarrassing.
But I think that's with the way that they did those rules. Like I vaguely remember they had like a flag league or some kind of flag tournament, and like at the very end there was a group of NFL players that had to play against them, and it was like because the laterals and rules of flag were a lot different. Like the flag guys were competitive with it.
Oh, I know they were. That's what I was thinking. Like they just know the rules better, and you're not practicing it every day, and you're not going to put in the time either, right? I mean, unless you. That's why I said. That's why I wasn't joking about getting guys that are retired and thinking like, oh, they're just going to be the best. I'm thinking guys that are freshly retired that are going to be in shape, fast. Maybe they lost a step or two, but like Antonio Brown is still fast. Yeah, he has off the field stuff, so probably not the best guy to bring. T.O.'s probably lost a step, but maybe not. He was just racing Tyreek Hill. He has nothing else to do, dude. He's been wanting to play football for a long time. If you give him, I guarantee he would be training hard. I don't know if Chad Johnson would be training hard, but like some of these guys, it would be a second chance and a way to get a gold medal, and then you wouldn't really have to worry about them A, getting hurt, which I think is why the NFL limited it to one player per, or B, even just like you're playing a different sport, so you come out of the season because it's not this year, it's like 2028, right? So we still have 3 years. So like some of those guys we'll have to see who's retiring recent. Like if Tyreek Hill retires, you just get him, and he just spends days trying to make people miss. Because making someone miss a tackle, you can still like make contact with them. In flag, if you try to initiate contact, you're getting your flag pulled. And our guys are not going to know how to pull the flag, like you said. You can be competitive with like the spins and things, because I see it in flag all the time, even with kids. Like they end up tackling the guy because they can't get the flag out, which would be a penalty, right? So like, I just want it to be entertaining because I might be bored watching. Is there going to be crowds there? We should go and see. We should just go to the game. 2028. It's in LA, isn't it? I don't know if I want to go around there. Am I right? But if it was in the East Coast somewhere, I could easily drive to. It'd probably be worth. But again, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Any thoughts on it?
I think it'll be interesting, something different. Although I always just kind of feel like going into the Olympics that we're just going to crush everyone. I don't, especially now that RFK is getting us to be healthy again. We're going to be like super juiced up, jacked up for the Olympics. They'll be like, where are you just getting all of this food from?
I know. I just watched an interview like that randomly popped up with George Lynch, like the old guitarist, and he talked about like how he was to get big, and he mentioned like talking with football players about it. He didn't mention anyone by name. This has been like in the 80s. He's like, there's a certain type of steroids. He's like, and then those bodybuilder guys are like on another extra level where they're the mass type stuff, and now like things like that. So like, are we gonna go back to having just like the 80s Beachbody Ivan Drago steroids? Or like you would think that they'd have something better by now. Right? Lance Armstrong, he didn't get bulk. That's why they changed it to PEDs, right? Because, well, the one thing, I don't know if we talked about this, but they finally allowed, it was supposed to be the topic last week, and I think it got derailed, and then the audio screwing with me. But they finally voted to let Pete Rose into the Hall of Fame after he died. And then Shoeless Joe Jackson and like anyone that was on the banned list. But they didn't really address my man Barry Bonds. And I saw like even Chipper Jones has been like tweeting a lot about it, saying like, look, the dude was a Hall of Famer all-star before people even accused him. And like he didn't even test positive. So like the players, we know some of the guys that are already kind of being considered or already in. Like, I don't know, did Alex Rodriguez get in? Or like they're considering him. He actually tested positive, dude. Like Big Papi Ortiz, I'm pretty sure tested positive, and then they were like, oh, it was tainted or what. Like Barry Bonds never tested positive. So are they going to wait for him to die? I know they kind of already ignore like his thing. I forget. I don't know if a Chipper said it or someone else in the comments to like his tweet said something. You got to imagine there are other guys that came out of left field. Like what was that one guy, Brady Anderson? Like had one season where he was like hitting 60 home runs. Yeah, okay, that's a red flag, right? Or was it Luis Gonzalez that also had like a 57 home run year or something like that, 60 home runs? Like, okay. But like Barry Bonds at a certain point, you could tell he just started, they were saying he lost a step. They kept saying about how he wasn't a good outfielder anymore. The dude was competitive. The only way for him to compete was to just shift to a power hitter, right? If a speed guy loses his speed, that's it. Like in football, that would be it. They would be cut. In baseball, you kind of have lucky. Barry just got unlucky because they didn't have the DH rule where he could like just be in a DH on any team. Otherwise, he could have played for the Giants for a couple more years. And the home run record would have been even higher, right? So now he would have just kept playing. So I noticed that a lot of people, when they bring up like great hitters, they started to throw like a Tawny in there. And a couple other like random guys are like, well, he's a more flexible player than like Barry Bonds was. It's like, yeah, okay. But Barry Bonds wasn't pitching. But like, Ohtani's not being like the best pitcher out there either. So just because he's doing it doesn't mean he's like the best. Barry Bonds, dude, I've seen him get walked so many times that he changed the game. He's like the Caitlin Clark of Major League Baseball. There's never been a guy come close other than, what, Pujols? You'd agree on that?
Yeah.
I'd say he was close. I wouldn't say he was like, oh my God, you can't miss a Barry Bonds at bat. But there was a season or two where Pujols had that, where it was like, oh my God, he's going to win the game by himself. And it's sad that the Giants never got Barry any help to win the World Series. So in a way, the man was cursed.
And then I think like you take it a step further, and when, to me, if you have bases loaded and you're still just walking because you're like, it's not worth it. Like that's pretty powerful.
Oh, I know. I think the one game I watched Smoltz like throw, I think it was Smoltz when he was the closer. I watched him throw like 3 balls, and I thought he threw one and Barry went down and and just like Smoltz, what are you doing, dude? Don't even throw it close. Then I also watched Smoltz like strike him out, and it was like we won the World Series in like June, in the middle of the year. It's like, yes, got him, got the win. He could easily hit a home run to beat us. Holy crap! Like those are the moments that there's no other player. Even like Miggy Cabrera, like I remember him being great, but he didn't have the same fear. And maybe it was because the Tigers weren't on that other level. And it's good to see friends of the show. They're doing good this year on a heater coming out to start the year. I'm hoping they do well. It's like a joke that the Tigers can go through a full rebuild and the Pirates are like fighting amongst themselves, losing money now. Like, how embarrassing is that you can't get your team together or even your front office or whatever they're trying to do? It just makes no sense to me. It drives me nuts. But again, I like the Tigers. Very supportive of our show when we started out. We'll see how they go. Braves haven't been doing hot, so might be Tigers all the way for me.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised to see, because since Gruden went out of his way to show some support for St. Louis, they've just been on a mad tear, climbing out of the basement, the NL Central. They were, as of this afternoon, a game back on the Cubs, playing Detroit, having a series with Detroit this week, and seeing where they landed.
Yeah, I was looking to see if they have this up, but I'm getting pings. Jefferson wants to play on the flag football team from the Vikes. Yeah, these dudes want an easy gold medal. They don't know. They don't know the shame that comes with it. Ask LeBron whenever you lose to another country. They think it's going to be great. They're not playing tackle. That's the reason why I can't sit back and, oh, well.
Eddie Lacy wants to play because he hears it's just unlimited food.
You get the free meal. But yeah, the Tigers still have the best record in baseball. Insanity, dude. With the money that the Yanks and the Dodgers are spending. Pirates, dead last. Not as bad as Colorado. And who is the other one? Chicago Whites. They must have got the Pope curse on. He'll pray for him. He's a White Sox fan. So they'll be back one day. Did you see that? They're like trying to claim the Cubs. And then I think the White Sox put out like, no, he's actually a White Sox. Been confirmed. I thought that was cool. I'm like, yeah, let the Cubs try to take him. Like a random Pope. Although, to be fair, Harbaugh did meet the Pope with years after. I don't know. If the White Sox win the World Series, I will not be surprised. Get your heavenly bets in now, fella. Let's see. Any other baseball things you want to talk about?
Not a whole lot. It's been nice to actually see St. Louis playing good ball.
Oh, man. Speaking of that, I did see this popped up right as I was looking at the records, that guy that fell at PNC, another guy was giving him beer. He was underage, and they charged that guy. So a 21-year-old was buying beer, got the guy drunk. He's 20, and then he fell off the thing.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
But that, honestly, why charge him? Underage drinking? He's not the one that fell. They needed suntan lotion bottles to put the beer in, and then it looks like they're just drinking suntan lotion. We've obviously never been to the Jersey Shore, my man.
All right, Frank.
I'm trying to think of what else I had. Hurricanes are down right, but Team Canada, everyone was picking the Leafs out already. We're down to one Canadian team left. Could be another celebration, another year without a Canadian Stanley Cup. It would be great. That can't be. But I will say that I hope the Canes get it done. They're looking like they're on fire. But every time you play Florida, it just seems like the Canes like struggle for whatever reason. The Florida team. It's like we're not far enough south to have that luck to win the cup. But maybe things will come together. I think it was the other team, Dallas, the other American team. I hope it's Carolina in the cup final. But got to get things turned around. The last thing I had, college sports. And I know this show might end up being shorter, but I might get on some. There's been a push by universities, I think it said 70 of them, to join a coalition that would prevent members from suing over NIL compensation. Like, you know how Tennessee threatened to sue like the NCAA and Michigan threatened to sue over like the cheeseburger thing, the sign stealing. Because like the NCAA had no proof and Michigan asked for proof and they said, well, we can't tell you where we got our proof. And they're like, well, where is it? And they're like, well, you can't tell you. And then I see people, and this is the one thing that scares me because I've seen Michigan go through it the last couple of years. And it's not so much the investigation. It's not so much the okay, they might have bent some rules or whatever. It's just the blatant lies in the media at this point. Like, I read an article today about, like, Michigan's just another dirty cheating program like the SEC. And at the bottom, it clearly said, per the NCAA rules, sign stealing is not against them. So it's like, you wrote an entire article, brother, about how Michigan's so dirty because Connor Stallions was stealing signs. But then at the very last sentence, you said, oh yeah, but sign stealing isn't against the rules. So then why would that make them dirty? Like, I don't understand it. And there wasn't due process. They went ahead, all the coaches I brought up earlier in the show, I think it was while we were recording, they had all the coaches from the Big Ten. They did a vote without Harbaugh, like a secret backdoor meeting to try to get Michigan out. And I know why they did it. They thought Ohio State was the best chance to win the national championship. Let's be real. Michigan at that point was what? They didn't have a sexy offense that year. Everyone thought Ohio State, this was the year. They had Kyle McCord, whatever. They had Marvin Harrison Jr., right? Michigan had, what, Blake Corum? Which obviously turned out to be awesome since he crushed Alabama in overtime. And then the Dawn, 2 runs against Washington to put the game away before my beer even thought to get in that first quarter. We already won the game. I thought, that's going to be a nice national championship to just relax. I'm sure Auburn thought that again. But
yeah, they were stealing signals.
Yeah, signals. Again, stealing signals. Dabo Sweeney does it. Oh, what a great guy. Look at Venables out there stealing signs. He's like a class act out there. Michigan does it. I understand the Connor Stallions thing with the Central Michigan, but they already went through Michigan's phones, and it came out that they're cleared. None of the coaches. All of the show causes that came out were all from that recruiting violation where over COVID, when some teams were actively practicing, SEC schools or whatever, Harbaugh had that cheeseburger incident, whatever else they said, where I think Klinkstell's was because he posted something on someone's Instagram. Like, I kid you not, that's why he got the show call. If you look it up, it was something with like he made a post on Instagram and he wasn't supposed to for another week, so he's banned for a year. Like, no other team has been hit like this hard, and they keep saying. I saw that some Spartan writer put out this. They got extra footage tape from Connor Stallions at the Central, and he released it, I think, last week. Honestly, I watched the extra footage, and it only just reinforces my theory. No one on Michigan knew. Central Michigan coaches brought Connor in to help steal signs for them, hoping to upset Michigan. Because in the video, he's clearly telling the Central Michigan guys the signs. If it's even him. Again, we don't know. Central Michigan seems to have known that those guys brought Connor Stallions in knowingly, right? Because those guys have all been fired. Remember, they like let 2 or 3 of the guys go that connected to people who didn't know why, and they were named in the report. I'm sure it's because of the new footage, right? Because if Connor Stein's on your sideline and he's actively telling you on video the signals, you can't say, "I know, just there, tell me the signs. I had to take them, coach." Right? But again, that would clear Michigan. And honestly, the only thing that would have been a penalty would have been if he was scouting for a future opponent, which is a monetary fine. It's never been a whatever, but my argument way back when was that he wasn't scouting. He was working for Central Michigan. He had the exact coach gear on. It wasn't like he was just a guy dressed like stadium security and no one in the whole stadium knew who he was, and he was filming with like Ray-Bans or whatever they accused him of. Was he recording from the sideline? I don't know. But anyone that has those glasses, the battery doesn't last that long. I think Connor Stein's made the same thing. Like, obviously people that are using like the Ray-Ban theory, like they think in their head, like they watch a movie and they see like James Bond in like the 90s have like these cool watches and glasses. They never had a watch that you can't even make it through one day with. Like an Apple Watch still doesn't have a battery life of an entire day. It's like 15. Awesome. You think his glasses are going to record in 4K for... Like, are you drunk? Is he wearing like a Ghostbusters type battery pack on his back? Providing that battery juice? Like, plus, where would he be storing it? Like, I mean, I guess it could have like a large micro SD card. They have the exact same glasses that people are accusing him of wearing at Target now, if you want to check them out. I don't know what I'm going to look it up real quick and see like what the recording length is. Because like that's the kind of data that people... You could just...
Yeah, plugged into a multi-terabyte hard drive in his pocket.
Yeah, the fake mustache and everything up. Ray-Bans can record up to 60 seconds of video They now support up to 3 minutes, man. 3 minutes. People could do their own research, but they're idiots.
Hey,
Like
3 minutes can be a long time for some people.
yeah, if you're getting the signs. Remember Ohio State had that footage that Purdue leaked or whatever. It was like of Don Brown giving signals on the Michigan Stadium, and they're like, yeah, okay, you got that on TV. I always love on the broadcast when they show the coaches giving signals on the stadium scoreboard. What an easy job for the cameraman to just post up and show the in stadium board, which they never do. But I don't care.
That's why I always had liked Mike Leach when he talked about it, because he's like, I'm not a coach that's holding this in front of my face, because even if you do, in order for as fast as we're trying to play and play with tempo, till you interpret it, you get it to the defensive coordinator. The defensive coordinator signals the appropriate call, and all 11 guys communicate the call and then get into the right place to stop it. Like, there's a lot of moving pieces that's not happening.
I saw an actual sports writer from one of the big ones. I don't remember where it was, if it was like the ESPN. They were saying that JJ's 2 interceptions in the Fiesta Bowl were because TCU had given him fake signs that the linebacker wasn't going to cover that guy and that guy would be wide open. And I thought, like, they've obviously never played sports where they give the signal and they're going to say, like, okay, they're in cover 2 or whatever. They're not saying, yo, tight end's wide open on this one, JJ. Just float it behind him a little bit where the guy can pick it up if he's there. Like, JJ can easily see the guy if he was paying attention, right? Like, he just made a bad throw, bad read. It's not that he, like, because that's what people were like, when he gets in the NFL, he does not know what to do. Coach isn't telling him who's wide open on every. It's like, that's not how the side signals work. You think the coach is signaling in, like, linebacker, leave him uncovered this play. Like, you're a coach. You know that's not what you're signaling in, right? You're just hoping, like, if they blitz a guy, yeah, maybe. JJ's thinking, like, okay, he's blitzing, I'm going to throw it there. But the guy was one-on-one. If JJ made a good throw, like, outside, it wouldn't have mattered. But it's not like JJ, even in the Alabama game, JJ makes bad throws, dude. He threw that first play of the game right to the Alabama guy. That's just what he does. Like, it takes him a little bit to get settled down. The TCU one was just too late. So the signals don't matter. That's why they weren't against the rules. And with the headsets or whatever, I just don't like the new group of, like, teams that are coming together trying to get outside of, like, the repercussions. Like, I signed the court documents in support of Harbaugh as an alum, and I would do it 100 times over. Because, like, they've still never put anything out against Harbaugh. And the thing that's crazy is I saw, like, a graphic of, like, the active winningest coaches in the NFL. Harbaugh's, like, 1 or 2. He's, like, behind Nick Sirianni now after he won the Super Bowl. Yeah, oh, good thing he had Connor Stallions with all his NFL wins. Oh, wait, he didn't. Like, that's why anyone that tells me Harbaugh couldn't win, it's like, dude, he's one of the winningest coaches in NFL history. You're an idiot if you think that Ohio State's, like, this unbeatable force that he had to, like, come up with a big hootenanny to just win. Like, he was winning pretty much in Michigan, too. They were just losing to Ohio State. And it came out in their investigation that Ohio State had their signs. So if anything, the only thing that has hard proof is that Ohio State was only beating Harbaugh with Ryan Day as coach because he had the signs. Once Michigan changed the signs up, Ohio State hasn't beat them in 4 years, even with the team that won the national championship. So Ryan Day hasn't beat Michigan, even if with Harbaugh not there, for 2 years. Sharon Moore was there for the last 2. I mean, Harbaugh was suspended or whatever. So give that one to Harbaugh, give it to Sharon Moore. Doesn't matter. When Ryan Day had Don Brown signals, those were the only years that he's beaten Michigan. Every other year, he's been, what, a favorite? He's been cooked. Like, those first 2 where Michigan just ran the ball like 100 times and had 5 rushing touchdowns by Hassan Haskins, that was such a beat down that pretty much, like, Ryan Day's days, like, you saw him after the game last time, he's like, what happened? What happened out there? Why are we fighting them? Like, it's mental at this point. Like, at this point, maybe the national championship was a thing that they need to get their confidence against Michigan. But even then, like, would you bet on him for having a great game plan against Michigan this year?
Not with losing both coordinators.
Yeah, they had a lot of turnover. Yeah, they have Jeremiah Smith, but new quarterback. Rumors are that he was struggling. That's from Ohio State insiders. They're saying that he might be the worst quarterback they've had in a while. I don't know how good that is. I don't really care about them. I just, scouting reports come out of their spring that they had looked about trying to bring in another quarterback, which you can't do late in this game. I saw another coach say, like, there's absolutely nothing in the transfer portal practices. So all the people that canceled their spring games, did it work? Or, like, would it even have mattered? Because, as that coach put it, there's only trash in the portal left. With the new early portal, after the spring games, Michigan had the spring game. I watched it. Looked like a lot of fun. The players looked like they had fun. Looked like a good-sized crowd. I know Ohio State had theirs. I saw Alabama did a weird scrimmage thing. Looked awful. Made me laugh, my Alabama buddy, because it was so embarrassing that no wonder no one. They were like just throwing like fades in the end zone quarter and running drills. And then they had like you had to pay an NIL to like meet the players and get like a picture. Like, what in the heck, Alabama? I think Georgia had a full game. Miami had a full game. It's like all the schools that are actually paying money, they're out there actually they don't care. Like, they've been winning. I know Miami, but they're playing like so they don't care. And so now at this point, I'm at the NCAA. You try to limit it. Why? What's the motive? Because at this point, I'm all for Michigan saying, like, I know they're not going to do this, because in that agreement, these smaller schools are pushing, and they're trying to say, like, hey, don't let this, we're not going to sue. You have to go by our bylaws, whatever they are. You can't go against them, or we can just give you penalties and you can't fight them, is what it seemed like, which to me is a red flag. And they also said, like, you can't bargain outside. So are we getting one major conference with 70 teams? Because I don't want that. At that point, I would say forget the rest of the Big Ten. Forget them. I don't even care if Michigan plays Ohio State again. If they want to play these weird rules where you can just suspend coaches and then not have any recourse. And you can't pay for top dollar for recruits because other schools are poor and what kind of world is that? I know it's never going to hold up in court because it's not the school suing. It would be the players. Imagine being told, like, oh, hey, I have my sights set to go to Ohio State. Oh, sorry, we hit our throat. You can go play it at like Ole Miss or Mississippi State. Like, no one's going to want to sign up for that, right? So this has opened a whole can of worms. We know which programs are popping right now. The Oregons, the Michigan signing like the #1 recruit with like a killer deal. People see that. That's what scares them. They can't match. Miami offering like Quinn Ewers money to come back. You think he regrets not taking that? Got drafted in the 7th round. They offered him like $5 million or whatever they gave Carson back. I've heard it might even have been higher, upwards close to 7. That's a good deal, dude. Like if you're Michigan paying 10 for, or they said it could be up to 12 for Underwood. He's unknown, right? Quinn Ewers has been in the playoffs. If you think you're a quarterback away and you can get him for half the price almost of a Bryce, like freshman recruit, I say heck yeah. Especially because if he was able to come back and then Arch Manning comes out, you know he's going to be working hard to prove Arch Manning right. It could be like a Joe Burrow situation, right? Ohio State picked Stroud over him, right? Or I think that was the quarterback they picked. They picked someone over Burrow. He went to LSU and won the national championship. And did he get the Heisman? Like, that's spite, dude. If Texas said, hey, Ewers, you're gone. We want Arch Manning. And Miami's like, dude, we've been paying for all these bros. We need a guy to come out that has experience. If he would have came, I honestly would not have been shocked if Miami won the next year. Because at some point, like a super senior, that's why I'm not sleeping on Penn State this year. I've been talking to a lot of, even Penn State fans are kind of skeptical. I think Joel Klatt maybe had them #1, and I thought, all right, he kind of knows ball a little bit. So I feel okay with my Penn State thing. Like if they have a quarterback that was like was an interception or a fumble he had against, like if he doesn't make that turnover, Penn State probably wins that game. And they would play against the Ohio State team that they only lost by like a touchdown or 6. Or they could have easily won the rematch. I mean, Ryan Day against another team that he always plays close and tight. I mean, James Franklin probably would have blew it. But that would have been a great game to see who choked.
Well, he's going to make it harder for himself to choke it away because he has a good defensive coordinator.
Yeah. And that's the guy that Michigan tore up. So it'd be good for us. I still remember that first year. They were like, this is why they brought him in. And then Donovan Edwards ran that like 80-yard run. They're going to get to stop here and get the ball back. No, not so fast, dude. And then he did the marching band celebration to dot the I. People miss that stuff. But that's the one thing that Michigan was always playing fun under those years. And I think that's what really, I think that really annoyed a lot of teams. How many other teams did celebrations against the other team? Remember that? Was it Mississippi? Was it Mississippi State or Ole Miss where the guy did like the dog peeing celebration?
Yeah, got a coach fired.
Yeah, Michigan they did the break the O. He did the marching band one. Peoples Jones did the Paul Bunyan trophy, which is still one of the top celebrations, I think. And Devin Bush like cut up the Spartan logo on. That's why people hated Harbaugh. That and the paying players thing, which now you can clearly see as schools are panicking and bundling together to try to stop paying players. Which I saw a rebuttal from, I don't know who put it out there, but they said if the courts want to go ahead and consider this, they should put a cap on coaches and administrators at the school and say, look, if you want this, you can't have anyone making more than like $1 million. And so I wonder how that would change sports. Like if you want to limit players, then you can't pay coaches more than what, because I think that's what the proposal was. Like a player can't make more than $1 million. And so they said that like if the courts want to go and keep the nonprofit status, then they can't, if they can't pay a player that much, then they can't pay anyone that much. Which I thought was a good rebuttal. Because see how fast that changes if someone has to take like a $5 million. I'm like, oh, never mind. Because basically they're saying, you can't, the state, like, right? You can do whatever they want. That's why I was telling Matt, I think this was before the show, like, you can't make a group of a bunch of like universities from states and then not include all the states. Because like, if you leave out Wyoming, the Cowboys, and then they have like a playoff, Wyoming can just sue this giant organization, and then the court has to rule to what? Let them in? And then if they get let in, then pretty much they can get any other state team in. You have like the Maine Black Bears in there. You have whatever. Like, how are they going to deal with that? You can't have a group.
That might be an interesting new way to do the tournament. You have to win your state. Now, Temple and Pitt and Penn State have to play each other.
I've said that all along. That would be.
Bucknell wins out, and now it's like, this is the Pennsylvania state champion, and now you go on to the national tournament.
That would be a cool way to do it, kind of like the Little League World Series. But like Hawaii has a team, they have pride. They've been trying to get in the Pac-12. I know the travel thing's a beast, but you can't tell me that if another group of colleges conference of 70 teams, how do you pick the 70? Like I want a list to come out and show me who's all in there and who's not in. And then we should reach out as part of the show to the states that weren't included. Because, like, does Alaska even have a team up there? Do they want one? I bet they do. I mean, I didn't look it up. I don't remember them. Who else? New Hampshire?
I would cry if I had to go to Alaska.
Well, what about Delaware? Right? Isn't the only big Delaware school the one that Flacco played at? Is like
Yeah, the Blue Hens.
Yeah, if they're coming like a new group, how do you know they just don't petition and say, like, well, we want in? Oh, well, we can't. It's like, well, why not?
Every school can have one representative. Volunteers tribute.
Every state.
Like Division III team playing against Alabama. Like, oh, this is just like a regular season matchup.
Yeah, but it would, with the cap, it would eventually even itself out. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, that starts to be the push. Like Indiana and Purdue, like, oh, we're not taking both you guys. Or like Iowa State. Like, why are we taking both of you? Okay, well, tell us why. Like, I don't know. Like, there's bigger states out there that might be better for us. Like, I don't know how many people live in Delaware. But is Delaware a bigger state than Iowa? Why would Iowa get 2 teams and Delaware gets none? They can't answer that question. I'm telling you, they can't. Because history, pageantry, like this is very 1970s football. The teams that were big back then, like Oklahoma, Texas, Michigan, Ohio, Alabama, like those, and even early into the 80s, those are going to be the schools, Miami, that right now that are going to be able to spend money if they want to. Pitt, maybe not. Georgia was hot with Herschel Walker back then. It's always the same schools now that when NIL was uncapped, all of a sudden, teams from the North can compete again. Kind of shocked by that, huh? Kind of weird. Kind of weird. And no one can explain it. Like Notre Dame just comes back from the dead and they're crushing Georgia. When's the last time they've done that? Like I know Georgia had a backup quarterback game, but come on. You can't stop Notre Dame's run? What are you doing? That's my thing here with the new NCAA type. You got to tell me why schools that are prestigious and have all like whatever, like the alums that are donating money, the biggest stadium, like Michigan has the biggest stadium, and you're trying to take away the advantage fellow alums have donated to what? Make Rutgers feel good? Like I don't care about that. I don't care if Illinois still plays big boy football. Like at this point, I hope this falls through, and I hope these schools keep nagging and complaining. And then Michigan says, like, we don't care, enough is enough. I'll write some letters. Will they listen? Probably not. I mean, Michigan's probably like, we don't want to ruin the gravy train. But at this point, if all these smaller, like Klinger-On schools that aren't investing in football, I would rather Michigan say, like, you know what? What if we just take the top dogs, like everyone keeps rumoring, and saying, like, well, what if the top guys just break apart? That's why these guys are trying to come up with this other plan where they're like, well, if we can get 70 schools, maybe we'll have enough votes. Because that's what I think it is in reality. I don't think it's every state is included. I think they just want enough that they know there's about 5 to 10 schools that can swing money around, and they're afraid of being left behind. And so they're in the ears of other schools like Virginia Tech. Like, dude, you used to be good at football once. You're not going to get invited. You have to join this pack. It's like schools probably like Wake Forest leading it. Or like other Boston College or someone. It's like, come on, guys, you got to sign the deal. Look at them. Look at them over there. Michigan and Ohio State celebrating 2 Big Ten national championships. That's unheard of. Unheard of. Like, we can't have that happen. Join us. Come on. Come back. Notre Dame almost won it. Could you imagine? Could you imagine let's say if Ohio State makes that kick against Georgia and it went Ohio State, Michigan, and then Notre Dame won this year? How everyone in football's minds would have been blown since like NIL, the 3 biggest program championships. Heck, even if Notre Dame wins it next year, I wouldn't be surprised. It would be like, okay, that makes sense. And meanwhile, all the other little programs trying to bring them back down. Or heck, if Miami comes back, we're just going to see like Oregon hasn't been able to break through pre-NIL or post-NIL because they just don't have the history. And they're kind of like in a weird, it's like trying to recruit to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We have like, what, 2 weeks till the Big Ten, or not the Big Ten, the ruling is supposed to come out on Sharon Moore. And hopefully we get some more information on these groups because they're panicking. They're panicking hard. And I've already gave let players disclose it. Just disclose who's paying you and how much. Then let everyone see. Like, I mean, you don't even have to put the how much. They could just have it in tiers. Like, oh, so-and-so's paying you tier red. Okay, more than $1 million. People are going to know anyway. They're already telling them on TV. And in that way, other groups will see, like, okay, well, this collective, kind of funny, they kept bragging about having you signed, and you're reporting that they only paid, oh, yeah, they made me go drink coffee with some. It's weird, right? That's the kind of stuff that they don't want out there. And the schools, they don't want them to be classified as employees because they don't want to have, that was another part that I saw the leaked out, is they don't want to have to provide insurance for them, like lifetime health insurance, because it would be like a $2 billion cost or something. Which might not be true. I don't know how true that was, the data throwing around. But yeah, they are kind of employees. So pay them. If you're not letting them get paid what they're worth, and then you're not also giving them health care, what are you doing? And this is an ex-athlete that's talking.
Yeah, they're college kids. They're giving their parents insurance.
Yeah, a lot of guys, they just don't care. They want to have fun. Like, you kind of realize, like, I played, like, I had no chance. Like, I went to I think I talked about it on the show before. Like, I went to the showcase, got my grade, pro, whatever. I could have tried the minors, but at some point you kind of know. So then you either play for fun or you just retire. I retired, never looked back, don't really care. Everyone retires at some point. But like, if they would have told me, like, yo, remember how we were giving you stipends? Like, oh yeah, we can't do that anymore. Like, how am I supposed to feed? Like, how can I buy beer this weekend? What are you doing? Coach, you're taking away my money. Taking away my lifeblood. So whatever, annoying. But that's it. Anything else you want to talk about?
I'm good.
Looks like the audio didn't disconnect, but there's some weird sound, so I tried to fix it. We'll see what happens. So annoying. But we'll get it ironed out. We have a couple months. We can keep talking WNBA. I know you'd like it. We'll get it ironed out before football season. But thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.